Hey, what is going on, everybody, and welcome to patch 6.4, or at least that's what I'd like to say, except we have extended maintenance. I'm recording this at 2 p.m. Pacific time, but I do want to talk about some stuff that we know right now, which is the stats for the new characters and also the uniques as well for them. I want to kind of do what I normally do with my spreadsheets and kind of stack up the characters, the new characters of this patch, and how they are in terms of, well, how strong they are. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at in this video. So if you're ready to go, then let's boil this down. And very quickly, before we get started with that, I want to kind of point out this blog post, I guess, that came out a little bit earlier on. As far as adjustments to Red Hulk. So he got a bit of a nerf. I guess he was too strong on war defense, and so the part of his passive where he gains ability energy from charges, now he can only trigger it once per war. So it says this can only trigger once per match, and only once per war. I think because this is how Red Hulk gets to his ultimate, and therefore triggers the battlefield effect, and I guess that was just too overpowered. So they kind of had to wind that back a little bit, and so we'll see if this actually works properly when Red Hulk gets released, making sure that, you know, it actually functions how it's supposed to after the fix. Also, secondly, they added the Spider-Verse tag to Kingpin and Mr. Negative. Now, this is pretty interesting because the Cosmic Crucible Room 3 has the Spider-Verse tag in it, so this might allow for some different, some different matchups in terms of your Tangled Web and who you want to kind of pair them up with. We're going to talk about Mr. Negative in this video a little bit because he is a stat beast. We're going to take a look at that, though. As far as the rest of the Underworld team, that's going to be for a separate video because I believe we want to talk about their stats and how they stack up, but I'm going to need a separate video for that. Also, finally, there is a special raid event that's going live on Friday called Raid of Fortune, which involves earning raid credits. So save your raid inbox messages because you're going to want to claim this like people were saving and hoarding war credits for Alliance War. Now you're going to have to do this for raids. So you have a couple of days to be able to do this, and I just want to make sure people are aware of that going into Friday because there's going to be blue 4 ions up for grabs and some gold and dark promotion credits, so you don't want to miss out on that. Obviously, I don't see the milestone, though, because I'm not in game yet. So, but, you know, they say what's going to be in there. So that's quite it for just now. We're also going to be taking a look at MSF.gg because they have actually the updates here as far as the characters go. You can take a look at them there. At least that's up. And what's very interesting is that you can see their uniques and how many gear pieces they need to get to gear 16 and so on. And so the first thing I want to point out is Red Hulk. So he does require gamma radiation. You can see that down here on the side, on the right-hand side. And how many pieces that he needs, gear pieces, to go to gear tier 16, he needs 3. So on top of the unique, he does need 3 additional pieces. Otherwise, he has some G15 pieces in here to go to 16 anyways. And gamma radiation, like I said. So the second character, Spider Weaver, who has... Oh, no, we're on the wrong one. There we go. So same like Red Hulk, that you need 3 separate gear pieces. Of course, Spider Weaver is Mystic, so don't forget she's not Bio, she is Mystic, and her unique is Molecular Cloth, most commonly known for Shang-Chi, I think, off the top of my head, and I think Kate Bishop as well, that uses Molecular Cloth. So just be mindful of that if you don't have 18 and you want to take Spider Weaver up to gear tier 16. Third on the list is Spider-Man Noir, and he actually requires a little bit less. So he only needs 2 gear pieces on top of his unique. His unique is Ballistic Weave. This one you'll have to be careful about because Ballistic Weave is shared with Rogue. So Rogue and Echo maybe, but mainly Rogue. So, you know, if you've already done Rogue, that's fine. But keep in mind that you'll also need 22 of them for gear tier 17 if that's something that you're thinking about. Fourth, we have Spider-Man Noir. And he is also similar to... Or sorry, Spider-Man 2099, my bad. He's very similar to Noir in that he only needs 2 other crafted pieces. His unique is also Molecular Cloth. So this is a bit of a problem because Spider Weaver is molecular cloth, and frankly, I think that you're going to want to build up Spider Weaver before you build up Spider 2099. That being said, I do believe that Spider-Man 2099 is going to be the October month-long event, so you probably, don't have much to worry about because you will unlock and gear up Spider Weaver before him anyways, so unless you buy an offer for 2099, which I am personally not doing. But yeah, there's him, and then Mr. Negative to round this off here, he is... not that expensive either, but he is Mystic Gear, so you have to be cognizant of that. He is going to be the last character that you're going to unlock of this patch anyways. Spider Weaver is going to be a more important gear for Mystic Gear at this stage anyways, and of course Darkhold before that if you still need to do that. And his unique is Infinite Energy. This is the Cosmic Cube, aka for Dagger, and I believe Viv Vision as well. So as far as unique competition goes, that's where it's going to be at. But let's take a look at the spreadsheets where we take a look at the stats of each of the characters and how they're going to stack up. So I have that here, and I've done this for other patches as well. I did this for I meant to put patch 6.4. I did copy and paste that part. So this is patch 6.4. These are the new characters. I said sort of in order of release. Red Hulk is not going to be first. It's going to be Spider Weaver, but I wanted to kind of point out Red Hulk's stats first before we get into some of the other characters. And Red Hulk has a pretty impressive lineup, and that shouldn't be all that surprising. In the places where, he doesn't stack up that well is going to be in Resistance, but I believe he makes up for that with passes from the other team members, so that's not a big problem. His health, though, he is a brawler, so keep in mind that his health is, it's good, but it's not like, top 5 or anything like that. But it is equivalent to Adam Warlock. It is still pretty solid. His damage, on the other hand, is number 6 of all the characters in the game. It's slightly less than Ghost Spider, but still very, very strong. His armor is a top 20, equivalent to Iron Man. His focus, very good as well, which is top 10, just a little bit above Cloak's. His resistance, it's pretty average. It is what it is. He'll make up for it better. And his speed, though, I really have to point out Red Hulk's speed. He has a speed of 133, and is number 3 in the game for base speed. The only people faster than him is Black Widow and Yo-Yo, and probably Zemo with his passive when he spawns and things like that. But other than that, he actually has a base speed faster than Rogue, which is really good when we talk about where his placement is going to be in the upcoming arena meta, especially when Red Hulk gets unlocked and when the Famine Round 2 comes out and you get the empowered abilities for Rogue as well. So this is really going to change how the arena meta is, given how fast he is, and he can clear revive once and all that. So it's going to be pretty nuts, and we'll have more to talk about Red Hulk in the future as well. Spider Weaver. Now he's a little... Oh, sorry, what did I do there? I didn't mean to do that. My bad, wrong buttons. Spider Weaver. So she has a pretty high health pool as well, but top 10 in the game, equivalent to Mighty Thor. Once again, her molecular cloth unique. Damage, she's a top 40. That's going to be equivalent to Hulkbuster. Keep in mind some of the other characters bump up her stats for the team, though, and we'll talk about that in the notes section. Armor-wise, she's a top 20, similar to Gambit. Focus, top 20, similar to Silver Surfer. And then Resistance is pretty much the same, actually, as Red Hulk over here. So I just, basically Red Hulk, which is top 55. Her speed is 127, and this shares with Ghost Rider, and this is a top 15. There is about 7 other characters, though, including herself, that have this amount of speed, though, so it's still pretty good overall, though. She does give her Tangled Web allies 30% health, including plus 10% more in Crucible, so that explains why her health is so high, because she benefits from her own passive first, especially in the stats table. So that's pretty good for the team. So let's talk about 2099 and Noir. Now, 2099 is pretty glass cannon-y. Both him and Noir are pretty glass cannon-y as far as the hit points go, but like I said of a Spider Weaver, they're going to be benefiting 30% more. On top of this is just their standalone stats. So I know you're going to be using them as a team. I just wanted to showcase what their standalone stats are. That's why I put the additional stats in the notes table. So damage-wise, it is top 35 for 2099, though, which is equivalent to Vision. Armor is about top 40, equivalent to She-Hulk, and the focus and resistance is pretty wild. Focus equivalent to Dormammu, and resistance equivalent to Agatha, both top 15 and top 10, and speed is also the same as Spider Weaver at 127. So the problem with this, though, and I'm not sure if there's something else in their kit, maybe I haven't fully read their kits down, but being both the same speed, I don't like that, because that maybe means that they're going to coin flip on their own turn, and I'm not sure how that's going to impact the match. Let me know in the comments down below, though. Maybe there's something I'm missing in their kit that actually puts one of them before the other, but I don't like when they share the same speed on the same team. But Tangled Web he gives Tangled Web allies 50% focus and resistance, which explains why his stats are super high, because he benefits from it himself. He also gives 20% drain to Tangled Web allies and 20% more resistance to both Tangled Web allies and non-Tangled Web allies in Crucible. So tons of resistance there for them. Spider-Man Noir. He's a little bit more of a glass cannon than 2099. Hit points is still pretty just as bad. It's a little bit better, you know, equivalent to Agatha. Damage stats, though, is equivalent to Morgan Le Fay. He does have a top 10 damage stat. It's very high, actually. The rest of the stats are pretty mediocre, though. You see top 40 for armor, top 60 for focus, 80 for resistance, and top 50 for speed, equivalent to Deathlock at 120. 120 is not bad by any means. You know, most of the characters actually get lumped around the 110 plus range, I think. He also gives Tangled Web allies 15% damage, and then non-team allies gain this in Crucible. So the Tangled Web allies gain the 15% damage outside of Crucible in any other game mode. So that explains why his stats are so high, and he'll spread that a little bit more. Which means that 2099 with Noir on the team, of course, is, you know, they're all going to benefit from these stats, which is good. Now, Mr. Negative. Oh boy, this was a bit of a shocker to me personally. I did not expect his stats to be this high, and that's why he gets his own line. So Mr. Negative's health is equivalent to Omega Red, which is a top 5 in the game. This was shocking to me because he's not a legendary character, and he's getting legendary level health. The only other character that's not a legendary that has as much health as this, Dormammu is a pseudo-legendary, but Hulkbuster is the only other character that has higher hit points than this. I believe Hulkbuster's number 2 in the game. Damage-wise, not too bad here either. We're looking at a top 30 for the damage stat. Mr. Negative actually has the possibility of being a bit of a dark horse character. I'm not really super looking forward to the Underworld team. I'm a bit underwhelmed, I think. We're going to talk about this separately when we talk about the team itself. But Mr. Negative standalone, and because he has the Spider-Verse tag now, I'm kind of wondering if I might build him for Cosmic Crucible or something, even though he's a war character. His focus and resistance are also super stellar. Top 5 focus, top 15 resistance, really shocking. His speed's not terrible either at 122, which is a top 30 in the game. Now, he does give 50% hit points and focus to Underworld allies in war offense only, so we'll talk about that again some more when we talk about our Underworld video. Now, how am I going to rate these characters from 1 to 5 as far as the best characters that you should invest in first? You know, this is pretty obvious. So Red Hulk gets a number 1. You know, he's obviously the one that you should put your resources in the most because he's a Horseman of Apocalypse. He's part of the Gamma team. You're going to need him. I'm going to give Spider Weaver, and I guess I should have... Why is it so far down here? We're going to give Spider Weaver number 2 because I think she's going to be... And she's going to be... I'm pretty sure she's going to be here when the patch comes up as well. So she's someone that you're going to want to invest in. And she's also required for Apocalypse, which we've been told as well. Now, for the other characters, I don't know how much I care about them. You know, it's weird. I don't know if I care about 2099 and Noir, and I think we're not going to see them unlocked for a while. Same with Mr. Negative, but I'm very curious about these stats, and I really want to know more. I want to know, like, how he functions with other characters and how he functions in different game modes. And because of his stats, I know stats aren't everything, and kit's important. His kit's actually not bad either. So I'm really curious. So I'm going to give Mr. Negative a 3, because I actually might invest in him standalone. I may not invest in the wider Underworld team, but I think at the very least that I might give Mr. Negative some resources. Now, that leaves Spider-Man 2099 and Noir, and I think of the two of them, I'm going to have to go with Spider-Man Noir. And I think that's because of his damage stat. So that means that I'm expecting him to do quite well, at least as his job as a, you know, as a damage dealer, as a glass cannon. And then that leaves, unfortunately, Spider-Man 2099 as number 5. Oh, I don't know why that's setting a date. 5. Also, 2099 is expected to be the month-long event character for October, which means that I'm going to hate that even more, just like I do right now with Abomination. So hopefully with Spider-Man Noir, we have a slightly friendlier event. And so that's everything. That's all 5 of the characters, and also what to expect with their stats, with their kit, and their uniques as well. Let me know in the comments down below who most interests you this patch. I think we all know it's going to be Red Hulk. But I mean, outside of that, I'm kind of curious, you know, what characters are your favorites, who you might gear, and who you might not. And so let me know all of that in the comments down below. And of course, everyone, in this instance, it's not subject to change. At least it shouldn't be. Except for Red Hulk's kit, which was changed. But other than that, look forward to some videos, of course, related to patch 6.4 as we go forward. And until next time, stay safe and healthy. And I'll see you all later. Boylon signing out.